What's going on, Pinnacle students? Sorry, the sun just came out and I'm like being blinded by the light right now. Hey, I hope y'all are having a fantastic week. Here with a message for you guys. So I got a quick question, throwing it out to you. Do you ever feel like you live in two different worlds? Okay, like you see stuff going on, maybe you act in a certain situation one way, but maybe when you're at home with your family, you're acting very differently. And I think right now is a great time for us to look and see how we're acting due to different situations that we find ourselves in. It's often like me, you know, when I'm home, I shouldn't admit this. I like to get my finger in a peanut butter jar and then just, like eat peanut butter out of my house or my jar. No one's ever going to eat a peanut butter sandwich from my house ever again now. It's okay. I don't serve people that peanut butter, all right? I don't need your judgment right now, okay? Erica doesn't even know about this. I'm probably going to get a talking to. But we all act differently at home. That's the point of that. I would never in my right mind do that in public. Walk around they'd be like, who is this sociopath just walking around eating some peanut butter out of a jar with my finger in public, okay? We all do things at home that we would never do out in public. And so that brings us to, we're acting differently in different areas. So the question is, how do we do this? Like, how do we act one way here, but then over here act in a totally different manner? And I think the deeper and better question is why? Why do we act differently here and there? And when we're at home, a lot of times, I think we can all share this, like, especially one day when you become a homeowner or rent and it's your own place and you're like, this is me, this is my house, I'ma do me, I'ma do what I want because no one can tell me what to do, it's my space, right? Maybe you feel that way about your bedroom. And then you kind of get in your mind going about that and you're not thinking about how is this looking to everyone else, because you're so wrapped up, and we do this all the time, okay? We're so wrapped up in asking this question, how does this affect me? Right? How does this affect me personally? This situation, this decision, and a plethora of other things going on. How does it affect me is a question we all ask ourselves all the time. But is it the right question? So we're going to look at, there is a dude in the Bible, in Genesis actually, the first book, that had a weird family situation happen. Part of it is his fault. A lot of it is his fault, how he acted about it. But who we're talking about is Joseph. Yeah, if you've had Sunday school classes or whatever, you had coat of many colors, okay? This is Joseph we're talking about. He was chosen. He was, most importantly here, his father's favorite son, and he had a lot of other siblings. Parents shouldn't pick favorites, even though they do. Parents shouldn't pick favorites, and Joseph was the chosen. He was also the youngest. So let's hop into some scripture, see kind of what's going on here, and then let's go from there. So in Genesis 37, 6-7, he runs up to his brothers and he's like, guys, listen to this dream I had. We were binding sheaves of grain out in the field when suddenly my sheaf rose and stood upright while your sheaves gathered round mine and bowed down to it. Okay, I want you guys to go to your sibling and be like, listen, I had a dream. We were cleaning the dishes. And my dish was surrounded by your dishes, and all your dishes were like, Your Honor, Majesty, okay? And then be like, what did you do? Okay, first off, they're going to ask, did you take anything you weren't supposed to? Secondly, they're going to think you're crazy. Thirdly, they're going to go, wait a minute, are you saying that your dish is better than my dishes? And that's what Joseph is throwing out here is like, hey, I have this dream. And he has another dream that's very similar. And it's a dreams telling him that, hey, you know what? You're going to be the chosen one, and one day your brothers will bow down to you. Not out of a sense of like him forcing them to bow down, but out of respect. So, siblings, that's kind of hard, especially when Joseph is the little one. And they're all like, you know what? Dad's already his favorite. Now he's saying we're going to bow down to Joseph now. Doesn't go over too well for Joseph. Let's just summarize it that way. So here's what Joseph's brothers say in response to his dreams. Genesis 37:8. His brothers say, "Do you intend to reign over us? Will you actually rule us?" And they hated him all the more because of his dream and what he said. See, the thing is Joseph, it isn't bad that Joseph had this dream. What it was is how Joseph went about it. He went and told all his brothers, like, "Hey, guess what? You're going to bow down to me one day. I hope you enjoy it." "Hey, brother, what's up, dude? Have I told you about my dream about how you're going to bow down?" Cool. I thought I told you. I just wanted to make sure. "Brother, what's up, man?" Okay, it wasn't the best way of handling things. Joseph is known, if you have an application Bible, you pull it up and it says right there, Joseph, known for boasting a little, okay? Had to get humbled, all right? So what I want us to look at, and why we are still talking about this family situation that Joseph experienced forever ago, today, is because we can take a few things from that. First is families have always been and always will be complicated. There is not a family I have ever experienced where somewhere they've got an aunt, brother, cousin that has got some issue going on and is causing family drama. Maybe you're the one that causes the family drama. So that's the first thing to realize, that if you're in a crazy family, guess what? Everyone's family is crazy. Setting the bar standard there, okay? The second thing is to teach us. What can we learn from Joseph's family situation? And next week, we're going to learn how Joseph not handling this well leads to the equivalent of a biblical dumpster fire, okay? So just be prepared for that one next week. But what can we learn from this? How did Joseph react? How did Joseph act? How did the brothers react to this? It's a tense situation. And I just want you to try to put yourself in Joseph's shoes of like, hey, you're the chosen one of your family. You're the favorite, and you brag about it all the time to your brothers and sisters. How do you think your brothers and sisters are going to act? How do you think they're going to think about you? How are your actions affecting the family? And then thirdly, as I was saying, Joseph leads things into a disaster. The story reminds us that if we leave tough situations, tense situations unchecked, unresolved, they lead to those biblical dumpster fires. And they happen every day in modern day society. So that's why we're still talking about this. And we have to look at, okay, so if we know that this was a tight situation, this was a tense situation for Joseph and his family, how was his actions? How should he have responded? How should he have acted? How should the father and the brothers, how should they all reacted? And see, the thing is that we have to look at all of them acted in regards to that question I asked earlier. How does this affect me? But rather, they should have been asking, how does this affect you? We look all the time in situations around our lives about how they affect us. It is me, 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 me. We may not mean for us to think that way, but it's just the way we are. It's the way we think. We're always thinking about how does this situation affect me, and we have to start thinking about how does this situation affect the others in my life? So you might be saying, wow, well, that's like philosophically deep. Cool, I didn't think it up. This was set as an example to us from Jesus. So I want to look into a letter that Paul wrote about how to act and react to other people. So let's hop into that. All right, so we're going to read Philippians chapter 2, verse 3 through 8. And I just want to say this, if we all, whether you are a Christ follower or not, this is a verse that if you just took and applied to your life, and if everyone around the world applied these verses, especially just verse 3 to your life, how things would be so different right now in our modern day society. Like this moment in time would be so different if we all followed this one verse. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves. Okay, now, I get it. There's a lot of tension and racial tension, and I'm not necessarily picking that out in terms of this verse, but think of how different things would be if everyone valued the person standing next to them or the person on the other side of the earth more than themselves. What if we did things for other people rather than for ourselves. Just throwing that out there. It's pretty great. I don't do it all the time. Listen, I have my faults. I admit them. I fail a lot. But we got to strive for this. Look, we've only read one verse and you just got a life lesson. Picking up in verse 4. Not looking to your own interests, but each of you in the interest of the others. In your relationships with one another, have the same mindset as Christ Jesus. So what's that mindset? Who being in very nature, God, did not consider equality with God something to be used to his own advantage. Rather, we're talking about God here choosing to level the playing field here. Rather, he made himself nothing by taking the very nature of a servant, being made in human likeness, and being found in appearance as a man. He humbled himself by becoming obedient to death, even death on a cross. So we're talking about God, right? If we're a Christ follower and we believe Jesus was God on earth and he died and rose again, and that we have God in heaven that rules over and created everything, was able to humble himself to have a conversation with us. I think we should humble ourselves to have conversations with others, because at the very end of the day, we are all equal. We are all equally created in the eyes of God. I think we shouldn't value anyone, or we shouldn't value ourselves above anyone else. So tying this into the family situation is ultimately we've got to look at how are you affecting your family? And we're using the family because that tends to be the closest, tightest knit group, okay? It might be your friends. Maybe you consider some other people tighter than your family. How are you affecting those people? Because we get intense situations and we have to look what to do. And we're told, humble ourselves. Because God humbled himself, we can humble ourselves to those around us. We can offer a helping hand. We can look at others in a respectful manner, and we can treat others with the dignity and the respect and the value that they are better than us. Now, this isn't to diminish yourself. There's two sides of humility, right? Like a lot of times, I am one of the most cynical, beat myself up people in the world. That's not humility. We have value under the eyes of God. But it's the mindset that if we treat everyone better than us, then you're going to get treated really well by everyone else, and you're going to treat everyone else really good. And we're taking care of each other. And that's what Jesus did. He came to show us that, to set the example for how we should act, and ultimately to build a bridge back to him in a relationship with God for eternity. So hey, that's what I got for this week. I hope you guys have a fantastic week. Be looking for some more content coming out on social medias. You got your TikToks, your Instagrams, and your Facebooks, and y'all email, right? Cool. Hey, love you guys. If y'all need anything, send us a message. We're here for you. Hey, if you're watching this and it's like your first time ever watching something by me, I'm sorry. Secondly, send us a message. If you want to get connected, if you want to become a part of the Pinnacle Students family, we are here for you. So just like I said, send us a direct message, slide into our DMs, and we'll be here for you. We love you, and I hope you guys have a fantastic week. Peace.